The survivor in the Stanford rape case still wants to remain anonymous, but you should know that she has shared some thoughts with me. In fact, she let us know that she was indeed watching on the day that I read her statement live on television, and that she heard every single word. And this is the message that she sent to me via the prosecutor. Quote, "Watching her speak, my every word floored me, uplifted me, gave me new energy. I was in a trance and my heart was humming." She has a lot of people in her corner from all backgrounds, from all walks of life, all demographics. And one of them is Mike Golic, who's the co-host of Mike and Mike, who used his ESPN platform to express his outrage.
And his quote from the judge: "A prison sentence would have a severe impact on him. I think it will not be a danger to others." Oh, do ya? Do ya? You got that from him, huh? You got that from Brock, did you? That he won't be a danger to others, and you think prison might too be harsh for him. Do you see what he did, Judge? The girl was unconscious next to a dumpster. And if it wasn't for two guys riding by on their bikes who stopped it, God knows what would have happened to this young lady. Does Brock's father or this judge understand there was a woman assaulted in this at all?
Mike Golic joins me live now. Mike, thanks so much for being with me. I was very moved by your reaction, and I couldn't help thinking this is not the kind of thing that a sports program typically would tackle, and it sure doesn't usually elicit that kind of a response. I want you to bring me to your feelings and your thoughts.
Well, you're right. Normally it doesn't. And by the way, your reading of the young lady's account was incredible as well. It was something else. As far as our show getting involved in that, unfortunately, we had another situation, at Baylor, where the president, Kenneth Starr, and the AD, Ian McCaw, and the head football coach, Art Briles, all don't have a job anymore because of the culture that we're finding out that was going on with Baylor and sexual assault. In this situation, I just couldn't understand. You would know more than I the legalities of the judge going from what could have been a 14-year sentence to the recommendation from the prosecution of a 6-year to 6 months. I know, listening to the probation officers in this, but to say that it would be too severe an impact, isn't that what we're supposed to do when you do something as heinous as he did? Last I checked, 3 felony counts of sexual assault. Isn't that what we do? We punish for that, and also make the punishment severe enough so that when we don't think about doing it again. It's twofold, and in this case, it's no-fold. So that aggravated me. And then the father, and I'm a father of 3, and one is a daughter who just graduated from college. And so I understand the love of a father for your child. But I was appalled at Dan Turner, Brock's father, his letter. Not one time did he mention her. All we read about was how he can't eat anymore, Brock can't eat, Brock can't sleep, Brock's life has changed. Guess whose else life has changed? Brock was the cause, and this young lady is the effect of what happened. And I was just blown away that she wasn't brought up at all in any of this. It was all about Brock. Let's be lenient on him from the sentencing. Brock, his life is going to change now. Okay, but Brock did this. And he still won't admit to doing this, even though he was convicted. But Brock did this, and it well on its way to ruining a young lady's life. And I was just stunned that there was no mention of this at all. And I come from a world in the sports world, Ashley, time and time, where we do see the rich, at times privileged athlete or privileged family get leniency in situations as well, and we deal with what's their effect when that person can get back on the field or the court or the ice or whatever the situation may be. But this one just struck me as a complete thoughtlessness of the victim in this situation.
Let me ask you this about the father. Dan Turner also has a daughter. I mean, Brock is not his only child. He's got a daughter. He has come out in the last 24 hours with a clarification of his statement because it went viral as well, the 20 minutes of action comment. And this is what he's said, Mike. He said, "My words have been misinterpreted by people. What I meant with that comment is a 20-minute period of time. I was not referring to sexual activity by the word action. It was an unfortunate choice of words, and I did not mean to be respectful or offensive to anyone. And just to be completely crystal clear, the way this works is you write your statement, you submit it to the court, and through approval of this character reference, you then can stand in open court and assert your right to deliver a character statement. So this was not an offhand comment. It was written. It must have been approved by a lawyer, I assume. Should have been. And it was read in open court. Does this mitigate at all the father's comments that he has done this recharacterization?
No, not one bit for me. Listen, the 20 minutes of action I know was the highlighted line from his letter. But quite honestly, I'm looking at the full letter. I'm looking at the explanation of how Brock can't eat his favorite food or can't sleep anymore. Or even at the end of the letter, how the father was trying to say, not only, should Brock not be punished for this, jail time, but he can help society now by going out and speaking to other colleges, which maybe he can down the line, but he should be punished first. And I'm just amazed that the daughter to this man and any other woman involved in Dan Turner's life could read that letter and not just twinge a little bit in the guts, almost saying, really? Where's any mention at all of the victim in this, of the other life that was ruined, or maybe on the way to being ruined in this? So no, him saying he was misrepresented in that line, that's just one line of the whole letter that I basically shook my head almost all the way through.
Yeah, and I should also let people know of the geographics of a courtroom. He was delivering these remarks probably just feet from where she was sitting. Mike Golic, thank you for bringing this up on your program. Thank you for talking about it on my program. I think the more this gets out, the bigger a platform for mothers, fathers, and everyone to discuss the critical nature of consent and when you cannot get consent. And it is critical because kids might not know and they need to. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Coming up next, words from one father to another father. My next guest wrote a very powerful letter with a line including like this, quote, "We do not get kudos for only raping one person in our lifetime. I don't believe your son is a monster, but he acted like one, and that needs to be accounted for." And there is much more. Find out what and hear from him next.
2/3 of our planet is covered in it. So why do nearly